Hey everyone, thanks for hopping on tonight. Noelle Cruz, Jamie Hughes, and Brooke Phillips, all Presidential Diamonds, coming you tonight. Oh my goodness, somebody's calling me. Let me put my phone in do not disturb mode really quick so nobody else calls me right now. Sorry about that. Um, I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. So we are actually going to be talking to two amazing ladies tonight. And then immediately following this Zoom, we are going to break off. I'm going to stop the recording and we are going to do a work session where I'm literally going to take you guys through step by step what you need to be doing to work social media. Okay. And then we are going to end the month strong together. So I am going to bring on Lexi Henley. Lexi, you can unmute yourself if I can't find you before that.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so Lexi, tell everyone who you are and where you're from and how long you've been in the business.
All right. I am Lexi Kindly. I've been in the business for 2 years and I live in Alaska.
Awesome. Okay, so Jamie was telling me, she was like, we've got to get Lexi on our Zoom. And she would be on here right now talking to you, but her phone's about to die and she's driving and she doesn't have a charger and all of the issues. But tell me a little bit about just your experience getting to conference and what it's looked like since you've been home.
All right. So getting to conference was crazy because I wasn't planning on going until I think 3 weeks before I had to leave. And so I decided at one of our team meetings that I was going to go after I talked to Amanda. And so I didn't have any money to fly there. I didn't have any money for a hotel, nothing. So I ended up, that was whenever the Dosh app thing became really popular. And so I just started messaging people about that like crazy. I got a couple fast starts and then got a ton of referral bonuses and paid for all of my trip, luckily. And then conference was great. I actually ended up in the emergency room the first night of conference. And so I went to register on no hours of sleep directly from the emergency room. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that and I was like, oh my gosh, we don't need an emergency room visit. That's, yeah. But okay, so what happened for you at conference and what does your business look like since you've gotten back?
So when I was at conference, it was before they had even really started talking to us. I think it was like the kickoff night and we were driving back in the car and for some reason, like, I don't know what it was. It just hit me like my actual why. Like I'd always thought that I joined the business for one reason. And in that moment, I realized that it was completely different than what I had thought it was going to be, which was super awesome. And then the rest of conference just kind of, I guess, sealed that in for me and like really put it concrete. And then I got back from conference and ended up super sick for a couple weeks, but still was like posting and doing as much work as I could because I basically had a migraine and not feeling good from the time I woke up until the time I went to sleep. So that was stressful. But then after I was done being sick, I just buckled down and like worked as hard as I could to get back, first to get my rank back, and then because I need to promote.
Awesome. Okay, so talk about we have a lot of brand new distributors on here, so I'm really curious to know, like, what did you think? Well, first of all, you guys, if you guys don't know, we have our big annual conference the beginning of the year, every year, in Tampa, Florida, and then we have other bigger events throughout the year, but conference is like our big one. And I mean, we had like 20,000 people there, and it's a big deal. Like the people that get to the events are the people that promote. They're the people that have the bigger paychecks, the bigger influence. It's just amazing. So Lexi, I'm just curious, like, what did you think you were signing up for when you started with It Works? And then how did that change? Like what did that vision become at conference?
So whenever I started It Works, I didn't really know what I was in for at all. I was still in high school and I basically just wanted something that I could earn some extra money from home with. And I was like, oh, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna be good at it. And my first conference last year, like, blew my mind. And so I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. And then last year was horrible. And then this conference, it reminded me of why I was here. And shown me why I should stay. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting anything crazy, but getting back from conference last year and then again this year has boosted my business like crazy every time.
Awesome. So how has your month been since have you been able to get back on track? Have you had any enrollments?
Yeah, so I signed, I think, 6 customers and then a distributor, and then I have a couple potentials still for the rest of the month, for the next 2 days, I guess. And so it's really like, even though I was gone for 15 days being sick, I was still able to get it right back on track really easily. I started out the year with only 1 working distributor and essentially no loyal customers at all. And between me and the 1 distributor that I did have, I have built my team back up like from scratch to a really strong Ruby structured. And then I also, sorry, I'm getting a little distracted, but and then I've also brought my volume up to almost 2,000 by now, just in the last 30 days, maybe.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yes. Well, I'm definitely super excited about it.
Okay, so give everybody a tip for signing customers and distributors and boosting your volume 2,000 BV in 1 month from scratch.
My biggest tip would definitely I guess it's kind of a couple of things. Stay consistent with your posting. Even if you feel like you're too sick that day, schedule your buffer or whatever and make sure you're at least posting, because people will be commenting on that. And then what also has really worked for me was post to post. Those have been amazing. At first, I wasn't like a huge fan of them, and I decided to give them another shot. And that has blown up a lot in the last week. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was awesome. I forgot the other question.
Just tips for signing customers and distributors and boosting volume.
And so definitely host posts, keeping your posts consistent, and then reaching out to people, even if you are like beyond afraid to message them, you think they're never going to message you back, do it anyways, because it pays off big time. Same with distributors, making sure that you're posting lifestyle posts and what the business is doing for you. And if you've just started, post what it's going to do for you, because that's what's going to grab people's attention, especially if it's like personal stuff, not just like the copy and paste posts where you read somebody else's story. People are more interested in your story than somebody else's.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. That's gold, you guys, right there. That's so good. Awesome. Well, thanks, Lexi. I hope you're feeling better.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, you guys. So we have another guest that I want to bring on tonight. And I really just want you to hear from this girl because she completely inspires me. She is a full-time college student. She's going to tell you her story, but she's a full-time college student. She is on a full ride with a basketball scholarship. She's got a lot of life happening, and she is just consistently enrolling customers and enrolling distributors every single week. And she's just got a really amazing vision. So I wanted to introduce you guys to Destiny Ramsey. Hey, Destiny. Let me unmute you. Okay, wait.
Got it.
You're good. Okay, good. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
Okay, so tell everyone who you are and where you're from and how long you've been in the business, and just share your story.
Absolutely. So hi, guys. My name is Destiny Ramsey. I am from Bloomington, Illinois, so Central Illinois area. I have been in the business for 3.5 years. It'll be 4 years in June. Like Noelle kind of mentioned, do you want like long story long or long story short for my story?
It can be long.
Okay, I'll try and keep it short and sweet, but at the same time, I'll try and get into the gist of it. So basically, for those of you who do not know me, I have been playing basketball for 17 years now. I started when I was 6 years old. Obviously not competitive at 6 years old, but I started once I got to junior high, and I've been playing ever since. So my senior year, I fought, battled, I guess before my senior year, I fought, battled lots of injuries. In my junior year of high school, I had 29 offers and looks from D1, D2, the whole range of colleges that were looking at me. So my junior year was like, okay, so now I have to start thinking about college, where I'm going to go. Basically, if you've ever tried to decide where you wanted to go to college, you know it's not an easy process. It's stressful. You have to worry about finances. You have to worry about where can you still see your family? Can you still? There's lots of things that went into it, and I had a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, which made it even more difficult. I wish it was just like 1 or 2 or 3. That way it could make it more easy, but it wasn't. And so just my luck, my junior year, I got injured and it took me out. So I went off the radar completely, and all of the 29 offers that were on the table were no longer there. So I went from being this amazing superstar, rock star on the radar to nothing. Like, it was amazing how quickly it happened. A lot of colleges, once you get hurt, they kind of are like, okay, no, that might be a liability. Don't want her. So that's pretty much what happened to me. Come my junior year into my senior year, I started to get my butt back in gear. I'm like, look, somebody's going to want me. I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. I worked my tail off. I have a chronic injury, so it's something that is never going to go away, but I wanted to definitely make the most of it. I dislocate my shoulder, basically, is what the injury is. I've had surgery for it, but it's one of those things where in basketball, you use your arms, clearly. So it's one of those things where coaches were like, that might happen often. It might be something that I have to pay for all the time. So I just really worked my butt off to get myself back in gear and ready to go basketball-wise. So come my senior year, I fought really hard, got back in the game, and then it got to a point where I was one of those people where there was a few colleges here and there that were still looking at me, and then I was able to narrow it down. There was maybe 3 to 5 that were of interest to me, but let me explain I guess what it came down to when picking my college. So I found out my senior year, it was November of 14, I found out my mom had stage 3, almost stage 4 lung cancer. And she was fighting it extremely hard. I guess I could say she was fighting it extremely hard, but she didn't want to tell me. So I ended up picking a junior college that was about 45 minutes away from home, just so I could be able to have access if I needed to come home for any reason, to go to my mom's chemos, to be able to support her and everything while I'm still going through basketball and all of the above. So I wanted to stay close to home. That was one of the things I looked for in picking my college. So I did. I picked a very competitive Division II junior college. So all went well. I went to school. I was very, very, very distracted. I'm not going to lie. I was distracted. I had to worry about my mom dying. She was literally knocking on death's door. Like, when I tell you, I looked at my mom and I saw a skeleton. It was like the scariest, most emotional thing I've ever seen in my life, because my mom's already little. She's like 125 pounds on her heaviest day, and that was her healthy weight. So she looked good for 125, but it got to a point where her smallest weight was 101. And so she was already small, and then she got down to 101, and she literally was all bone. Like, her face was all bone, her body was all bone. And me being in basketball, I'm not able to come home every single day. I'm not able to come home every single weekend. So there were stretches where I had to be focused on basketball, focused on school, and I couldn't come home for months at a time. And let me tell you how hard it was to go from seeing my mom as this healthy, beautiful woman to coming home 2 months later and looking at like a skeleton. And I'm not being dramatic when I say, like, she literally looked like a skeleton. It was the scariest thing ever. And me trying to be positive, be strong for her, because she was very she noticed that I was super positive about it. Because when she told me, I tried to act very positive. I tried to make it seem like, look, you're going to be fine. You're going to beat this. Everything will be okay in the end. And that's what I told her. But in my mind, I would go to sleep crying myself to sleep every single night, worried that my mom was going to die. Like, this was my backbone. But to her, she never knew that. My mom doesn't know. She still doesn't know that I went to sleep just crying and just praying to God to just cover her, heal her. And I'm telling you, she had the mass the size of a man's fist on her lung. So my mom being 125 pounds, 5'3", this mass was literally bigger than my hand on her lung. So I knew that it would be a fight, but I knew it would be a good fight, because my mom is not one to give up. And she promised me that she would fight. So I'm going off to school. I'm doing my thing. And little do you guys know, so let's say I started my business. I guess I could talk about like when I got into this, my senior year of high school. So I had no intentions of getting into the business at all. I wasn't looking for anything like this, but I did know that I wouldn't be able to work. As a college basketball player, I spend probably 25 to 30 hours a week committed to basketball school, workouts, conditioning, homework outside of classes. We had to do study tables so that I have to make certain hours a week and study tables. There was tons of responsibilities. I would not be able to work. So I wasn't necessarily looking for this opportunity, but I wasn't completely opposed to it by any means. It'd be an opportunity for me to make some money from home, which was obviously ideal. I can't work anywhere else, so why not make some from going to travel on the bus and all of these things? So I did it. I joined, and my mom told me I was dumb. She told me I was stupid for joining something like this because she was like, she originally thought the person that got me started, she was a close family friend that got me started. And she was like, she's trying to scam my 18-year-old. And she was just so worried that I had just joined this pyramid scheme, that I had just joined this business that was just going to throw me down where I don't need to be. And so I had to deal with that. As you guys probably have related, you've had negativity and people that were bringing you down and people that told you not to and people that still tell you not to, and you're stupid and you're in a scam and all this stuff. I heard it all from people I love dearly. I still did it. I'm stubborn, but I still did it. I joined, and my first goal was just to honestly be able to cover my own butt while I'm in college, so I didn't have to ask my mom for any money. Like, knowing what my mom was going through, I wanted to avoid at all costs asking her for anything as far as money goes. So that was my first goal. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and I got all my goals met that I needed to meet right away. Within 3 days, I think I got my first 4 customers. I had a launch party. I signed 8 customers at my launch party. So I got going really fast. I was booming. And it got to a point for me where my freshman and sophomore year of college were busy, but not as busy as my 3rd and 4th year were. So I was able to work. I was able to do what I could. But let me tell you, my days were long. My sleep was limited. And it's all about sacrifices. For those of you who think you're busy, you probably are, but there's much more people out there that are much busier and they're making it work. Like I said, I spend maybe 25 to 30 hours a week in the gym with basketball, with school, with everything else on my plate. And that in itself is very tiring. Like, I come home most days with bags, like designer bags under my eyes, Birkin bags. I got Gucci bags under my eyes every single day because I sacrifice. I go and I get my crap done at basketball and my school, and I come home and I know what I need to do. So I think a lot of times we can get in our own heads. We can get in our own way. And that was a part of me too. I got to a point where I was like, look, I can't do this. I've got too much going on right now. My mom's dying. I'm arguing. My relationship is struggling right now. I've been with a boyfriend that I have since my senior year also. So we've been together for 4 years also. I was struggling in my relationship. I was struggling with my confidence, knowing that I was about to lose my backbone, my mom, just fighting all of the things. My back was against the ropes. My back was against the ropes at a lot of points. And there was times when I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw the towel in. I've made my run, but I'm done. That was my thoughts for a lot of times. But then the first thing that came to my mind, and the first thought that came to my mind when I even thought about that was like, no, you're not. Like, you're not done. Your job here is not finished. You haven't even done anything. Like, I haven't even scratched the surface of what I'm about to do. So I originally was like, okay, too much on my plate. I can't do this. And then God kind of put this thing in my mind and was like, are you really about to quit? Like, your mom's dying and you're about to quit. And at that point, my mind turned and my motivation turned from just making a couple extra hundred so I wouldn't have to ask my mom for money to taking care of her long-term so that she has nothing to worry about financially. Like I've told, Noelle's probably heard this story 100 times. My mom has been raising kids since she was 19 years old, so she never truly got to experience life for what it is. She was always raising kids. She went to school full-time while she was raising her kids, so she would go to night classes because her and her husband had to switch shifts. Like, she would take her kids to class with her at night to get her bachelor's. So she went through all of this, and this was at like 27, I think she went back to get her bachelor's. So she was trying. She did everything in her power to be the super mom that she is. But my goal now is basically just to give her the life that she can only dream of. She wants to travel. She just never has been able to, and she's never been able to afford it. She wants to be able to spoil herself every once in a while. She can't. I'm going to make that happen for her. I want to be the little relief valve at the top of her life that basically just helps her and gives her relief and takes her on vacations. And that's my dream now. My dream was originally just to make a couple extra hundred so I could take care of myself. It's much bigger than that now. My mom is still here. She's in remission. I think her surgery was April 17th of 2015. So this year she will be 3 years cancer-free, which the doctors gave my mom 3 to 5 years to live. So I don't know how true that is. I like to say that the doctors can't put a time limit on my mom's life, but 3 years this year, so at least she'll make it into that. And the doctor said she got 3 good years, 3 to 5 good years is what they told my mom. And so she tells me every day. I wake up and I tell myself, I made it one more day. And that's what she has to wake up to think about every single day. We wake up thinking like, oh, I have to go to work. Oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to take care of my kids today. My mom wakes up and she's grateful for another day. So that in itself is enough motivation for me. So, and one of the biggest things that just happened, I don't want to cry. One of the biggest things that just happened for me is I finished my basketball career on Saturday. So after 17 years, I'm done. After 17 years of basketball, I am officially just, and it's hard for me. It's a bittersweet moment. It's one of those things where I'm like, holy crap, I've been doing this for so long and I'm literally done. It was one of those things. My senior night was on Thursday of last week. So my last home game ever of my life, and my mom was there. And that was legendary for me. Like, I don't want to cry, but holy cow, my mom made it to my senior night. And that was amazing for me. So my mom got to watch me walk the court on my last home game. She got to watch me walk the floor and finish my basketball career after 17 years. So that was huge. She made it. My mom made it to my senior night, and now the next goal is for her to make it to my graduation, which is on May 12th of this year. So if she makes it to my graduation and she gets to walk across the stage with me there too, I literally have nothing else to be grateful for. So, I mean, I guess that's my story. My mom literally is my motivation. I work my butt off every single day despite all odds. Like I said, I have a lot on my plate with business and work and basketball. Like I have so many hours to spend in the gym. But yeah, so what else? What questions do you have? I don't want to go like off things. So ask me some questions that'll help.
Well, dang girl, now like everybody's crying. I'm crying. Like, oh my
Sorry,
God.
guys.
I'm overly emotional being on keto anyway. And so now I'm just like, I never cry, but
I didn't mean to cry. I didn't want to cry, but senior night really was emotional for me.
I'm just so excited for you. And I mean, I think it's really, really important. Like, you have had your why at the forefront of your mind every step of the way. So how important is that? How important is it to have that reason in front of your face every day?
Honestly, you need to have it's huge. If you do not have a big reason why you're doing this, you will take every second you can, every opportunity you can to get out. Every single time times get tough and you start feeling like you can't, you won't. Mm-hmm. Simply because your why is not big enough. So you need to dream so big, like to a point where it's like unreasonable, where it's like, I can't do this right now. That's fine. You don't have to be able to do it right now, but dream so big that you want to be able to eventually be able to do that. Like right now, I know I can't pay for my mom's bills and take her on vacations and do all of this stuff right now, but I know if that's my motivation, I won't stop until I can get there. I won't stop until I'm taking her on vacations every weekend. I won't stop until I can pay for her bills every single month. And there'll be no worries in her mind at all. Like, I'm just taking care of her. If your dreams and your why is that big, you have absolutely no reason that you can quit. There's none. Like, you have to take quitting completely off of the table. And if you have a reason to quit, your why is not big enough. If you have a reason to stop, you're not dreaming big enough. Like, there's something inside of you that you need to dig deeper to find, because if you feel like you could stop and you could stop working towards your dreams, especially in something that this is a vehicle for ultimate freedom, financial health-wise, you have the vehicle for it. So if you can quit on something like this, your dreams, you don't want your dreams to come true. That's just all that means.
So you have managed to build yourself a super solid team. I mean, you guys, she signed up one of her college professors. Like, this is so crazy. It was so much fun. We were at the leadership retreat in the fall, and Destiny's there with one of her college professors, and the guys, like, they were breaking it down, singing karaoke and dancing. It was so much fun. But like, you have managed to build yourself an amazing team while working all of these crazy hours. And I mean, so just like when I think about your level of exhaustion, like physical and mental exhaustion, it's a whole nother level than most people experience. So talk to us a little bit about, first of all, how many customers and distributors have you enrolled so far this month?
8 customers and 4 distributors.
Okay, so you more than completed your steps of success. That's amazing. So you did that obviously while finishing up your basketball career, while still in school. So how do you manage your time? Like, give us some tips for how you work your business in the midst of your craziness.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, I do want to mention that this month was definitely one that I would say was my absolute busiest month, basketball and school wise. Not related to business, but I had games every Thursday and Saturday this month. Every Thursday and Saturday. I had practices every single day outside of games. And even when we'd have games, we'd have to go in to shoot around and stuff with coaches. We'd have to weight lift still throughout the week. I had so many responsibilities on my plate. And mind you, I'm in my final semester of college. So I have to take at least one hard course that literally I have to pass to graduate. Like, I can't graduate without this course. So I've been stressing, trying to make sure I have all the tools necessary to pass this class, to stay on top of it, to stay on top of my grades, as well as spending 25 plus hours a week in the gym. So time was very hard to come by. Let's just say that. Time was very hard to come by. When I would come home from the gym and when I would come home from class, I just want to go to sleep. Like, I am exhausted, physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted from everything on my plate. And instead, what I do is I would stay up an extra hour. And I would set my timer. So hold yourself accountable. I would set my clock, my timer. So I had my time to know what I needed to do. And I would just do a power hour by myself. So what I would do is I basically go through what I needed to do. I do, like the birthdays. I'm sure we'll do some of this stuff on the work Zoom and stuff, but it's like I go through what I need to do on a daily basis at the end of the day. Like, even if it's super late and I'm exhausted, I still find time. I got to do homework first and then I do business. And most times my homework takes me anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to finish every single night. So then business starts at like 11:30 and I have to dedicate an hour. So it's honestly a matter of using the time you have and making the most of it. So instead of just sitting there scrolling through your Facebook, or instead of sitting there texting and calling and whatever you usually do during your breaks at work, whatever you do during your breaks when you have breaks at home, if you're a stay-at-home mom, whenever your kids are sleeping, instead of doing something for yourself, just work. Like, put yourself to good use and know that the money's not going to make itself. So if you want to make these kind of paychecks that you can only dream of, just know that it's going to be work and it's going to be worth it. So what I would do is I would honestly just set aside, so in the middle of the day, I don't have class all day. So in the middle of the day, I'd have breaks, like chunks of time that I could dedicate towards business. I would do it. I would dedicate that time. I'd sit down, I'd close my door. I'm really close to all of my roommates. So there's been nights where I literally have to close the door and tell them I'm working and they know not to bother me. There's been nights where I am on Zooms like this. I do Zooms every week with my team too. I just tell them I'm on a meeting, don't bother me. And they know not to come in my room. Or if they do, they're like knocking and it's like, can I, like, they just know like I'm working. So, it's one of those things where you have to put your mind to it. It's not going to happen without you working towards it. So put your mind to it, set aside the time that you need necessary and just work. Like, don't do anything else. Put your hands up, put any other distractions, TV off, put your ringer off, whatever you have to do, just work. Like, dedicate yourself to work towards your dreams, because they're not going to work themselves.
That's so good. Okay, do you guys have any questions for Destiny? If you do, go ahead and pop them in the comments. But Destiny, I'm just going to ask you to give one tip for our newbies and go ahead and give one tip for our veterans.
Okay. Newbies. I'm going to give you one that Lexi didn't already give you. So newbies, I would guess, I could give so many tips. I'll give one though. I have to give one. So let's narrow it down to one. So for the newbies, my biggest tip for you first is to find your why. That is the biggest possible thing you can do. What is going to be your motivation? You need to find it, write it down, plaster it on your wall so you see it every single day. What is your why? And then the second thing is to, I guess, not let anything get in the way of you reaching that why. So whatever that takes, just do whatever it takes. If people are talking about you, if people are telling you you're stupid, if nobody's enrolling for a month, if nobody's responding to you, if you're getting no's, keep working. My biggest tip for you is to keep working, to push through every piece of adversity you might get and just keep working. So that's my tip for the newbies. For veterans, newbies, two host posts. Those are amazing. For veterans, I guess my biggest tip for you would to just elaborate on that why. Reconsider and think about your why every single day. If it comes down to a point where you're tired, you're sick, you don't feel like it, life's happening, all of this stuff is in your way, think about your motivation and what it's going to take to get you to where you are. So I guess my next tip for my vets, I could give so many, would just be to stay motivated, use your resources, use your upline, and 3 ways. 3 ways have been the ultimate helpful. And for me, like, because I'm so busy, 3 ways have been a lifesaver. So I get people on the phone, even if it's for potential loyal customers, I get them on the phone. I talk to them. So my biggest tip for newbies and for veterans, get people on the phone. Like, I know it's scary, but seriously, it works. They hear you. They hear your passion. If you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what you're talking about yet, if you're a newbie, get a 3-way. Get somebody on the phone who does. So biggest tip would be use your resources. Use your resources.
Absolutely. And we're going to say it louder for the people in the back. Get people on 3-way calls.
3 ways.
3-way calls, you guys. I'm not even going to, I've just today, just before we started this, I did a 3-way call with somebody who had a potential customer, and we got him started on the Fit 30 plus the Greens Chews plus the It's Vital Core Nutrition. Just before that, I did a 3-way call and I got somebody else signed up as a distributor. She's so excited. She's like, oh my gosh, she's just jumping up and down excited. Yesterday, again, 3-way call, somebody super interested in keto, signed up on the spot as a distributor. You got to get people on 3-way calls. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out to your Diamond Upline and they will walk you through the proper, what we do. Because what I'm super passionate about, you guys know, is I'm super passionate about all of you becoming network marketing professionals. Not posers, not people that are just going to dabble in this, but people that are really going to change the face of our industry. People that are going to allow people to look into this profession and say, oh, they're serious about what they do. And I can't even tell you, I talked to somebody just this week again, who was like, I've talked to so many It Works distributors and they have never explained this to me. They've never explained it because they don't treat their job like a job. They treat it like a hobby to make an extra $100 a month. And when you guys can decide that this is your job, this is your profession, you're going to take your business to a whole nother level, and people are going to start to respect you. They're going to start to trust you. But 3-way calls, part of that, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's one of the other things, I guess, that I want to give a tip. And this is for everybody. I learned about this. I'm a business major. So I have a big word, but it's something that could hopefully stick with all of you. Find your sustainable differential advantage. What that means, find what it's going to take to make you different than everybody else. So there needs to be something that is just different. What are you going to do? Because there's 200,000 plus distributors in this world. What are you going to do to be unique? What's going to be your sustainable differential advantage? Is it going to be that you're super passionate and you like belly to belly? So your sustainable differential advantage is you like getting in front of people. You like meeting up with people. That's your difference. You need to find something that makes you different. So that's the biggest thing, because there's a lot of us. We all know that. There's a lot of us out there. So what are you going to do to make people sign up with you instead of somebody else? That's a tip.
That's a really big word. I don't even know what you just said, but it makes sense. And yeah.
Sustainable differential advantage. It's just what your advantage.
Somebody write that down so I can Google it later, because Destiny's too smart for me.
We'll put it for you.
Okay, well, Destiny, you are amazing. And where are you headed? I mean, what's next for you? What's your next rank promotion going to be?
Ambassador.
Well, yeah. What's your current rank, Destiny?
I'm Ruby right now.
Ruby to Ambassador, you guys. That's called Vision. And
yes.
She's going to make it happen. I have no doubt.
Yes, I just needed basketball to be over with, because like I said, it's overwhelmed my life for 16 years now. So now that I'm done, blinders.
I feel like I'm going to be like extra competitive because Destiny's got her game on full time now, and I still want to out recruit her, which I don't think is going to happen, but
I'm coming for you, Noelle.
Let's see what happens.
I'm coming fast too. I swear, my goal is ambassador by the end of the year.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so much wisdom, so much life, you guys. Please go post on Destiny and Lexi's walls. You guys, thank them for being on tonight. Show them some love. I'm going to stop this recording, and then we're going to go on to our next thing.